If you hate that and they're trying to collect, call guy Harvey, Holman, DebtReset.net.
Well, hello, I'm Guy Holman, and I'm an attorney, and I'm a bankruptcy attorney. Now, most of the time when you tell people that you're a bankruptcy attorney, they say, I hope I never need you. But the fact of the matter is that everyone should know and have on speed dial a good quality bankruptcy attorney, because we are masters in understanding not only the asset side of the equation, but the debt side of the equation. We're the type of professional that can show you how to not only eliminate debt and do it legally, but also how to protect the assets that you're building to keep them away from creditors, potential lawsuits, different receivers, collection activities, levies, all of that. So a bankruptcy attorney is someone who you really should have on speed dial, because you can learn a lot from them about finances. So why another financial channel? Well, because you have the David Ramseys out there, you have the Susie Ormans. This is not that. We're not a channel that's going to be talking down to you, telling you that you have to cut expenses to the bone. Actually, it's probably going to be just the opposite. We have the mindset that you really should have techniques to grow your income, grow your assets, decrease your liabilities. But if you're already cut to the bone, what else is left? So we're going to take you from baby steps. You can call it Finance 101. And we're going to take you all the way up to the professional levels. And we're not going to use big words and big vocabulary. We're going to start off with the basics and grow from there. So there'll be something for everyone, but we're looking for people who have substantial debt. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you have lawsuits that have been filed against you, if you're a senior citizen and you're on a fixed income and you can't make ends meet, 90% of businesses will fail in the first 5 years. So if you're in that category, you're a business owner and you've been putting your blood, sweat, and tears into growing that business, and then for whatever reason that idea did not work, and you have debt left over from it, you have personal guarantees, what do? Well, you would need a professional like me to help you through that situation. We're here for people who've been sued and you don't know, you can't respond to the lawsuit, or you can't afford the lawsuit, or if you had accounts that have been garnished, if you're facing eviction or you're facing foreclosure, people who've had a job loss, or perhaps you're underemployed and you just can't, it's too much month to the end of the month and not enough ends to make to make it to the end of the month. We're looking for you. This channel is directed at you. If you've been someone who's been struggling to get ahead and just can't, inflation has got you down. You just can't make those ends meet. If you were a couple, you just went through a divorce. You had two incomes, now you're down to one. How do you make that transition? There are some techniques that can help you. Back taxes. Do you owe the IRS money? There are ways to deal with that. We're going to talk about all kinds of debt. We're going to talk about student loans. We're going to talk about merchant cash advances. We're going to talk about bad debt as well. Especially if you're here in Texas, a lot of people have financed those solar panels. The solar panels barely even work. And we've had scenarios where people have financed $40, $50, $60, $70,000 on solar panels that aren't even reducing their electricity bill. So now what do you do when you're stuck with that product, or any particular product that has a negative equity that's not working for you, but you're still paying on that debt month after month after month? That's when you would contact a professional like myself. What do you do if you receive a lawsuit in the mail? It could be for any reason. This is America. It's very litigious, and you can't respond to it. It'll cost you thousands of dollars to hire an attorney. that might be the time to reach out to a bankruptcy attorney to see if there is a lower cost solution to dealing with a lawsuit that might come your way. So just a little bit of background about myself. As I mentioned, I'm a bankruptcy attorney, but prior to becoming a bankruptcy counsel, I was a former banker, Series 7 investment analyst, Series 7, 63, Series 6. Did that for numerous years, licensed in all lines of insurance, whether it's life insurance, health insurance, property and casualty, you name it. I've sold it, studied it, marketed. I know these products, and so we'll be sharing with you different techniques about different assets as well as the liability side. So essentially, our foundational equation is A minus L equals E. That is assets minus liabilities equals equity. We're going to be showing you how to grow that equity. That's going to be through techniques that help you to protect and grow the asset side of the equation, and at the same time, eliminating and minimizing the cost of the liability side of the equation. And that's how you grow your equity. And so that's what this channel is all about. I do have a background in finance. I a bachelor's degree in finance from the University of Illinois. From that, like I said, I worked in banking, BMO Harris Bank in Chicago. Then from there, went on to Citibank, Citicorp Investment Services. After that, went into entrepreneurship, into real estate, acquisition, flipping properties, selling insurance. It's kind of been over the whole financial section, financial area, and then culminating with my law degree in bankruptcy. And so the practice of bankruptcy allows me to pull together all of that background to be able to relate to different business owners, no matter what you're going through, and also to people who essentially have no financial education. We're going to start with the basics, as I mentioned, and just tune in. Each reel, you're going to get a little bit more knowledge, and by the time we're done with this thing, you're going to be a master of debt as well, and get your debt reset. This channel is also going to be for those people out there who have negative equity in their vehicles, especially if you purchased a vehicle during the pandemic when inventory was low. A lot of manufacturers could not get components. When you went to go buy those cars, dealers were doing markups of, $10,000, $20,000 over dealer invoice. Right now, those vehicles have substantial negative equity. Or what about if you have a vehicle, you purchased a lemon, you can't even drive the car? How do you get out of that debt? This is the type of channel that you're going to learn about how to deal with that negative equity. And there's so many different techniques that you can use where you're not constantly rolling negative equity over to your next vehicle and basically compounding your debt situation. If you're in a cycle of constantly taking out payday loans, title loans, installment contracts, whether it's Afterpay, Klarna, the whole gamut, and you're just caught up in debt and you're living check to check and you feel that there's no way out, that's when you will contact a professional like myself. This is why I love what I do, because I've been exactly where you are right now. I've been in debt. I've had to file for personal bankruptcy myself years ago. That's what inspired me to become a bankruptcy attorney. And now I empathize with my clients. I know where you've been. I know where you're trying to go. If you're in Texas, you definitely want to reach out to us. This is our home market. Our primary market is DFW. Also, the Houston area is our secondary market. We want you to reach out to us, but just in general, even if you're not in Texas, we want you to tune into this channel to get some tidbits on how you can grow your equity, growing the asset side and reducing the liability side of the equation. We want you where you are. We have clients calling us daily, crying on the phone. Some are suicidal. Some are going through divorce. They're just at their wits' end and they just don't know what to do. If you're in that type of situation, give us a call. We're the people who you want to talk to when you think there might not be a solution. There is. There are other alternatives that can get you out of debt and stabilize your financial affairs, especially in an economy where the economy is starting to slow down, interest rates are starting to rise, AI is starting to eliminate a lot of jobs that were entry-level positions. Now it's starting to take over even corporate-level jobs. So there's going to be a lot of job displacement as we go forward with this thing. So what do you do with all the debt that's the overhang? So definitely give us a call. There are a lot of misconceptions out there about bankruptcy. Most people think if I file for bankruptcy, I'm going to lose my house, I'm going to lose my car, I'm going to lose my retirement. You have to understand that there are what we call exemptions for assets as you go into bankruptcy that we can protect. There are state exemptions, typically. There are certainly federal exemptions. Most states give you the option of whether you choose state exemptions or federal exemptions. We can walk you through that. Luckily, here in Texas, you get an option. You can choose federal or state. There are some advantages to using one or the other, depending upon what your financial situation is. But when you sit down with a bankruptcy attorney, and actually, you want to sit down with us before there's a problem so that you can understand what type of assets are exempt from receiverships, from creditors accessing those assets. Where's the protected pockets of money that you can keep to keep you secure? Which pocket of your assets are at risk? You need to understand that, even if things are going well, because one lawsuit that comes against you, whether it's a slip and fall or you injure someone accidentally, people can sue people in these day and ages for any reason whatsoever. And even though you might be in the right, and at the end of the day, you might actually win your case, you might spend thousands of dollars trying to get that justice. So before you get into situations like that, you want to set up your financial affairs so that you have the maximum amount of protection over your assets. So let's cut to the chase. Is bankruptcy truly a death sentence? No, it's not what people truly imagine it to be. There is a fear out there that if you file for bankruptcy, that your finances are going to be ruined forever. But that's truly not the case. In today's age, typically in about 18 to 24 months, if you do certain strategies post-bankruptcy, you can start reestablishing your credit. And what we do is we sit down with clients after they get their discharge and show them techniques to rebuild their credit in the right way. This time using smart debt. There is smart debt and there's foolish debt. We're going to show you how to identify all the foolish debt, show you various options out there for smart debt, and we're going to get busy showing you how to eliminate the dumb debt. So what can be some warning signs that you really need to pick up the phone and give us a call? Let's say, for instance, you're a business owner and you're just breaking even, or you have negative cash flow. You haven't paid yourself a salary in ages, and so now you're drawing down out of your retirement savings, your IRA, your Roth accounts. You're taking these early withdrawals, trying to make ends meet. We know you need to have perseverance to make a business work, but sometimes you got to do a fair assessment and say, is this truly a viable business that's going to be a going concern? that I can actually maintain a living. Because if you're in negative cash flow and there's not, I guess, a growth plan to get you to that next stage, then it might be time just to back away from it, to reassess. There's nothing saying that you can't liquidate that business and start another one. Start it out with a fresh balance sheet, not having the debt overhang that the current business has. And so we could talk about that. Other warning signs would be, of course, creditors are calling you. You're getting collection calls. You're getting demand letters in the mail. You're constantly getting text messages from creditors. You just received a lawsuit in the mail. These are signs that you might want to call a bankruptcy attorney and have a conversation. There are various bankruptcy chapters. There's chapter 7, there's chapter 13, there's actually a chapter 9, there's a chapter 12, and of course, chapter 11. All right, so let's take chapter 11. Those are for businesses. Typically, larger businesses will file a chapter 11. For smaller business, there is a new section that came out recently in the last couple of years. That's a sub 5 chapter 11. That could be very beneficial for a small business owner because it allows you to maintain the equity in the business, unlike a traditional chapter 11. Then from there, your consumer bankruptcies are typically a chapter 7, although that can be used for a business to liquidate it. But a 7 is normally an individual who wants to be one and done. You're not trying to go into a long, drawn-out payment plan. You just want to eliminate the maximum amount of debt in one shot. You're normally in that bankruptcy for takes about 90 days to complete the whole bankruptcy case. Then there's a Chapter 13. A Chapter 13 is more of a reorganization, a payment plan that is set in place and is typically in place for about 3 to 5 years. You're going to pay back more debt by definition under a Chapter 13, but there can be some very strategic uses for it, especially for someone who is facing foreclosure for your home, or if you have a significant amount of what we call non-exempt assets. And we'll go into details on these things as we roll out more segments. But just in general, if you have assets that you're trying to protect that we can't protect with normal exemptions, or if you're in foreclosure or your car already got repossessed, but now you want to get the car back from the repo man, a Chapter 13 might be the way to go. In general, Chapter 7 is less expensive to do than a Chapter 13, and you're in and out pretty quickly, unlike a Chapter 13. But there can be things that can prevent you from even qualifying to file a Chapter 7. There's a means test. So based off of the size of your household and your income, that will determine whether or not you can even qualify for a Chapter 7. There are some exceptions to the rule. If you have a military background and you've incurred most of your debt while you were on active duty or while you were deployed or while you were on reserve status, that might be something that can get you over the hurdle, even though your income might be over the mean test hurdles. Also, there's what you call a business debt exception. So if you're an individual and most of your debt is arising because you've been operating a business, so although your income might be over the means test, but the majority of your debt, over 51%, is business related, you might be able to qualify for a Chapter 7 through that business debt exception. So before you say, look, my income is too high, I know I can't qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, give us a call. We'll walk you through the analysis and see if there's an avenue for you, or there might be an exception to the rule that's right for you. What will the curriculum be like on this channel? You're going to learn basics on how to use a financial calculator. Most people don't really learn how to do present value, future value calculations, to learn to calculate how much interest am I really being charged. Or if you're on the other side of the equation, how much interest am I actually earning? So we'll show you how to use a financial calculator. We'll show you how to analyze various debts, different repayment periods. You're going to learn how to buy a car. You're going to learn a lot about real estate. You're going to learn the best times to go shopping for vehicles. You're going to learn about asset protection. We're going to bring on other attorneys who focus on wills, trusts, estate planning. We're going to bring it all together and give it to you from soup to nuts. We currently file about 40 to 50 bankruptcy cases a month, and we're looking to grow that. We've seen it all. We help people who are discharging millions in debt, and we also help the little ladies who are discharging $10,000, $15,000 in debt too, where that can be substantial for someone if you're on a fixed income. So whether you have 10,000 or more, or you're up in the millions, you're going to learn something here. You're going to be able to get some advice to go forward on a debt-free basis. We've had tremendous success stories of people who have discharged debt, who have restarted businesses, sometimes going right back into that same business, but they've eliminated the debt overhang, and now they're flying, on a much leaner basis. We've had people who discharge debt, and now they reuse that income to start growing their assets, and then they come back and report to us and how they've grown that asset side of the equation. We're looking to help you as well. What are some of the common bad habits that I see from clients who have come in and they're in a serious amount of debt? It doesn't really happen all at once. It kind of snowballs, kind of a gradual sort of going a snowball rolling downhill, and it's picking up speed. But certain things that you want to avoid, that can be, number one, co-signing for debt. Whether you have children, a brother, a sister, a mother, anybody who says, hey, to get this car or to get this home, I need you to co-sign with me. Because what's going to happen is if that person defaults on the debt, guess what's going to happen? They're going to come after that co-signer. So I know we like to help out family members and friends, but a lot of times we have to practice tough love, and that person really has to stand on their own. So be very leery about co-signing for other people's debts. Number two is buying over and above your needs. That I gotta have it now syndrome, where we want the best car, even though we might be living in a trailer home. We're financing vehicles now as long as 84. I've seen people financing 84 months. Now they have products that are going out to 90 months. You got to realize that that car more than likely will be beyond its useful life before you end up paying off the debt. And so what people end up doing is they take that negative equity and roll it into the next vehicle, okay? So dealers are financing 120% of value, 140% of value. And so you can never get right side up. You're going to be underwater. What I mean by that is that the value of the vehicle is less than the amount of debt that's owed. And you need to do a calculation. I implore everyone to go to various websites. You can go to J.D. Powers, which is the NADA guide. Plug in the current stats in your vehicle, the year, the make, the model, and put in your mileage, and it will tell you what the current fair market value of your vehicle is. And just compare that to the amount of your loan, and you can see how much underwater you are. Some people are going to be surprised that it's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars that you might have a deficit. That we need to address that, and there are some very good techniques out there that can help you eliminate the negative equity and get into a vehicle that is right side up with no negative equity. What sets Guy Harvey Holman Debt Reset apart from other bankruptcy law firms? For one, we only represent debtors. We don't represent creditors. We think that's a conflict of interest to do both sides of the equation. So if you're being sued by a creditor, we're on your side. We only represent the debtor. Also, when you call us or come visit us, you're going to be sitting down with an attorney, a licensed attorney, to handle your intake. That's crucial because you have an attorney who's assessing the risks, the rewards, the opportunities, understanding the big picture. You're not going to be sitting down with a paralegal. All right, so we have a whole team in place that's going to guide you through the whole process. We're going to hold your hand. We're going to explain it to you. If we have to re-explain it to you, we're going to do that too. But you're going to have a licensed attorney who's going to walk you through the process. So we're right here in the central heart of DFW, located right on LBJ 635 and Central Expressway. Come on by. We would love to see you. You can also contact us through our landing page, DebtReset.net, and also our homepage, which is GuyHarveyHolman.com. We would love to have you. Don't be shy. Come on by.
DebtReset.net